me.
Shorts.
Didn't it? Not on contract. You watching the Masters?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I thought you would do.
Not the whole time, but I saw a few holes. Yeah.
I was a bit gutted for Rory last night.
Who's cut it?
I was gutted for Rory last night.
Why?
He dropped 4 shots on the last 3 holes.
Because he did really well. I went to bed when it was 13 or 14. Oh yeah,
He had
yeah.
2 double bogeys.
Anyway.
That's Peter Alice as well.
Oh, team news. Mo's contract. Just give us your reaction to the fact that you're going to be working with Mo for another 2 years at least.
Happy, of course. He's shown at this club for so many years in a row now how much of value he has for the team, for the club. So as like I assume all our fans and his teammates, we're very happy that he extended for 2 more years, and hopefully he can show Sunday again how important he has been for the whole season to us.
Is there relief as well?
I think for the fans it is. I don't think it's a surprise to you that I knew a bit better how his contract situation went over the course of the whole season. So maybe for the fans it was a pleasant surprise. I knew it a bit longer, of course, that things were heading in the right direction. And I think it's also a big compliment for Richard that he achieved to extend Mo Salah, who's such a great player, as a free agent, can go probably to every club in the world wherever he wants to. But he stayed at our club, and that's also a compliment for Richard, I think.
I'm assuming then you know more than us as to where Virgil van Dijk's contract situation is at the moment. So how close are you to announcing a new deal for Virgil? And I suppose how does his position regarding his future contrast with that of Trent Alexander-Arnold at the moment?
I think you know the answer. The boring answer, as always. We talk about contracts if they are signed. So in the situation with Mo, we are talking about it. As long as they're not signed, we don't talk about it. But I can tell you that I'm very happy with Virgil this season. He's been incredible for us. Even the last few games where maybe there were moments where he could do better. But if you look at the other 89 minutes, he's such an important player for us. So yeah, let's hope he can do the same what I just hoped for with Mo. He can do the same on Sunday as well, being our leader again, as he's always been this season against West Ham.
He did drop that hint last week though, that it's getting close agreement.
I don't read all the things that are told in the media.
Right. But I mean, it's good news as well. In some ways, this I suppose has been the most difficult point in the season for you, losing against Fulham and going back to those defeats to PSG and Newcastle as well. But the last time you lost in the league, of course, you then went and won 8 on the bounce in all competitions. So that would obviously see you home in the title race for you to do that now.
That would be nice if that happens again, indeed. I think talking about Paris Saint-Germain this week probably brought our home game in a different perspective. If people were not aware yet of how good of a team they are, they probably are aware of that even more after seeing them play against Aston Villa. And if you then look back at our home game, where in my opinion, we were over 90 minutes the better team, then we might have a bit more credits about our performance than we got back then. But indeed, losing against Fulham is not what we wanted. But no matter if you win a game or you lose a game of football, if you play at home at Anfield, players know that they have to show up, and that's what we're going to do on Sunday.
Thank you.
Ian?
Arne, working with Mo during your time here and being up close to him, what is it that makes him so special, and why is it that obviously fans and the club and everyone connected here are so pleased today that this player is staying with you?
First of all, he's always been judged as a player. He's always judged as a player, which is of course what you guys should do. But I also see him as a human being, and he's a humble person. Always wants to work hard. Always puts a lot of effort in to become the player he has become, and he wants to stay at that level. So he just keeps on bringing that effort every single day. And what makes him special on the pitch is, in my opinion, that he can score goals. Now, there are more players who can score goals, but Mo can also score a goal if he's not in the best half hour or the best 15 minutes. and that's why he's mentally so strong as well. And you need to be that if you want to be 7 or 8 years at the highest level every 3 or 4 days. Apart from quality, apart from physique, you need to be mentally really strong as well. And I think that's, apart from all the other things, how mentally strong he is probably what stands out for me.
How much of an input did you have on him staying? How much work did you do on keeping Mo here?
I'm part of that process, but I don't think I deserve the compliments. I think it's, first of all, it's Mo's choice and his agent choice what he wants, and second of all, the club, FSG, Richard, Michael Edwards, they put a lot of effort in him to extend, and effort mostly means money. But also effort, not only money. So I think what it might tell you as well, that it's not only a good season this season, we want to make a very good season next season as well, and I think Mo is convinced that there's a fair chance that we're able to do so. So again, that's positive for us.
With the Fulham result and obviously some of the results that Vinny alluded to a moment ago, is this exactly the sort of boost and the bit of a reset that everyone needs just to forget what's gone before and just look ahead at the challenge that you've got at these final matches to get yourselves over the line?
I would prefer not to forget what has happened before, because we're 11 points clear. In one of the most difficult competitions there has been in the past 10 years. If you look at how many English teams are still in Europe, how well they are doing in Europe. Arsenal beating Real Madrid 3-0, and it could have been 5 or 6. So that probably tells you how strong this competition is. And so please, please, please let our fans and our players not forget how fantastic we've done till now. We're out of the Champions League because we lost against Paris Saint-Germain after one of the best games of football I've been part of in my life. So I would like us to remember what we did. Not the last game, because that's the one we've lost. But in general, we can look back at 8 or 9 months of very good football. Where in a season you always are a bit on a high and a bit on a low, but on average, I think individual performance has been really well and team performance also.
Thank you.
Arne, what more can Mo Salah bring to Liverpool? His record since the day he signed has been incredible. His numbers are fantastic. This season, though, he's developed a new facet to his game in terms of the amount of assists. And you're looking at a player that always appears to want to learn more. And signing this new deal, can it put an extra spring in his step, do you think? What more can he do for you?
We're always trying to achieve a bit more as a team and as individuals. But if you are playing at Liverpool, probably you're also close to coming to the maximum of your ability. So there's not a lot of room for improvement for Mo or for all the other players anymore. But you're just trying to reach perfection. And I saw Deschambault saying this. That's the Masters Golf, where we just spoke about before the press conference started. I saw a phrase of him, and it was from Lombardi, I think, who said, we are trying to reach perfection, which we will never reach, but we reach excellence on the way. And I think that's what we are trying here as well. So we're trying to bring the best and the maximum out of the players to find this 1 or 2% extra. But it's clear that Mo is coming close to the end not to the end of his career, but to the end of his ability. I think we've brought almost the maximum out of his qualities this season, and then it's about consistency, which is one of the most difficult things in football, and that's why he's been seen as such a star player. Because to play once or twice the way Mo does, I'm not saying everyone can, but most players can. But to do this on such a consistency level, that's what makes it so hard. And then I come back to the mentality part again.
Defeats have been a rarity in the Premier League this season. Your first away defeat last week at Fulham. I know you were disappointed, particularly in the first half, with the mistakes that were made defensively, and you've also hinted at that when you analysed the Newcastle game. Do you learn sometimes more from what needs to be done when the players' standards dip like that, in terms of a reference point for what you need to do between now and the end of the season?
I think immediately after the game, it felt to me that we only made 3 mistakes, maybe 4 because after 5 minutes Ibu lost the ball in his 18-yard box as well, and that cost us 3 goals. But in the moment, I also already felt that it wasn't a bad performance in the first half, which sounds weird if you make 3 mistakes, but if you just keep the 3 mistakes out and you look at what we did, it wasn't our best performance, but it wasn't bad as well. But as it is in football, if we would have been 1-0 up in that game, probably everybody would say, oh, Liverpool control the game, they do really well. And you can see 3 goals with 3 mistakes, and everybody says it's been the worst first half of the season that we've ever seen at this football club. That is where football is all about. It's all about you are judged on the goals you score and you concede. So second half I liked a lot, but unfortunately we could only score 1 goal. But the mentality that we've shown by being 3-1 down and coming back in the way we did, creating more than enough chances to get a result, also shows me how much character we had. But I liked the second half also more than the first half because we were much more dynamic. So players run much more. Players took much more risk, and in the right places, the risks, and that led to a much better second half than the first half, and that's again where we try to learn from and do better on Sunday.
Arne, despite the effort and the money that you've spoken about, how much does this contract with Mo help your planning for the summer, because you can use resources to build rather than replace?
Yeah. And I think if I would put myself in the shoes of a player that we might want to sign, it's always nice to tell them that Mo, we don't have to tell them anymore because it's out in the open now, that Mo has extended his contract. So that helps. But what helps the most is that we kept a quality player that scored 7 or 8 years in a row so many goals for us. And in the end, I just said football is a game we are mostly judged on the goals we score and we don't concede. So it's helpful to have a player that can score goals, that's for sure.
And it's not a question about contracts, but forgive me, it might be equally as boring. Semi-automated offside comes in this weekend. What do you make of that, and what do you make of it coming in at this stage of the season?
For me, it's something positive because I think it even helps the officials to make a better decision, and it's also clearer to the fans, because if I watch a game of football, it doesn't have to be mine or somewhere else around the world, and I see a red line and a blue line, I'm always like, that's close to each other. But when I see this 3D, is that the way you say it? 3D. This, I'm like, oh no, it's indeed, you're right, it's offside. So it's, I think it's a positive thing, and I like the VAR for clear and obvious, not clear, for obvious things, not for subjective things. So I'm a big fan of using the VAR only for your objective things. So offside, yes or no, a ball over the line, yes or no, is it inside or outside the box? I would prefer the subjective things to go out, but that's not going to happen.
Carl? Just John Merrill again, sorry. How important a message does it send both inside and outside the club that he has signed for the 2 years?
Like I just said, I think it's important because I'm 100% sure that our fans love to see him extending, so it gives a positive vibe toward the club. Maybe a positive vibe we might even not need, but it's always good to have positive vibes instead of negative vibes. On the other hand, Mo performed so well, the club performed so well with you guys only talking about their contracts. But I think it's only positive, because if you want to sign new players or players that want to extend here, yes or no, it's always positive to see that one of our star players over the last 7 or 8 years have made the choice to extend his contract. So, and it also shows maybe how ambitious this club is. So not only Mo, but also the owners and the ones that came in last season, that we are really ambitious to keep performing the way this club has performed for so many years now.
You spoke about him reaching sort of the end of his talent, at the top of his level. Has his role changed for you this season, and do you see having to adapt as he gets older for you? Because there's maybe some games where he's maybe not been involved as much as maybe he had been in the past, but he's still producing the numbers. So have you changed his role, or do you see his role changing?
Yeah, that I don't know. I don't know if he was in 6, 7 or 8 years ago, or maybe 3 or 4 years ago, if he was every second of the game involved. I would be surprised if I look at all the wingers all around the world. They are not 90 minutes outplaying their opponent every single time. I think if you are a winger, you have to be creative, and that's the most difficult part in football, especially against these low blocks many good wingers face. So then it's normal that once in a while you lose the ball or one of your actions fail. But in general, Mo has a lot of impact on our game with assists and goals. But not only that, I think he's also a big threat. But he's not the only one. If I look at the Champions League this week, I think wingers are getting more and more important in this modern game of football, because teams are going to lower blocks than ever before. And then if you look at Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, Kvaratskhelia, Doué, now Saka, Martinelli, they were all able during the week to open up the last line, or to open up to create chances, and that's what Mo does for us, and what Cody and Lucio are doing for us as well.
Hi Arne, you mentioned Ibu Konate before, and we've spoken previously this season about his abilities on the ball and the improvements that he's made in that area. Against Fulham, he was substituted for an attacker. That's the 4th time that this has happened this season. What does he still have to do to become an asset in those times when you are chasing a goal rather than being sacrificed?
Now, for me, if I take him out for another centre back, that probably tells you that I wasn't as happy about his game. Or if I take Virgil out and I bring another centre back in, you could assume that he's either injured, or he's not fit, or I'm not so happy with the way he's playing. If I bring an attacker in or a midfielder in, that probably tells you that we want to take a bit more risks. And that is what has happened. So I think Ibu improved during this season on the ball. It's not that he was really worse. So he was a French international that played the World Cup final. So he was already a good player. I don't think maybe he on his own improved. He knows better what we as a team want. How do we want to do build up, where his teammates should be, and which choices he has to make in that regard. But to take him off, and I think I've brought, I don't know anymore who did I bring? Probably.
I think it was Chiesa, and then.
No, I brought Chiesa in for Robertson.
So,
But Darwin, I brought Darwin in, and another, doesn't matter. But it was for sure a player that probably can score a goal a bit more easy than Ibu can. So taking him off at Fulham has nothing to do where he is in his stage of how well he does with the ball. That is simply, yeah, we are 3-2 down. Let's bring as much goals on the pitch as we can. Let's take as much risk as we can to hopefully get a goal. And I think we created quite a lot afterwards. Which not to say which we would not have done if he was still on the pitch, but it did work out in terms of chance creation, not in terms of scoring.
Michael?
Hi Arne, you've always seemed very relaxed about the contract situations this season. Were you always calm that you would find a solution long term to Mo and that he would extend and his stay with the club?
I think in general people see me as quite relaxed, except for maybe 7 or 8 minutes during this season in a certain away game, Vinny. And that has all to do with the trust I have in the quality of my players, and this is all to do in the trust I have in the quality of leadership, FSG, Michael Edwards, and Richard Hughes. So that's why I'm indeed calm about the whole situation, because they will do what is best for the club, and if that is extending, that is extending, and if not, then they will find good solutions again, because that's what they've showed for so many years now. So there's a reason for me to be calm about everything. But of course, I've also spoken to Mo, and I followed the whole process, and that gave me a lot of confidence as well about his situation.
You've obviously got one of the 3 contracts sorted now. Do you think it's important that the other 2, obviously, Trent and Virgil, I know you won't discuss what is the latest, but is it important that we get those contract issues sorted in the next couple of weeks, do you think, or before the end of the season?
That last thing would be useful, because it's not sorted before the 1st of July, I think. Then No, but you know my answer. We will see what's going to happen in the upcoming weeks, and there's not a long time to go anymore. So you will get your answers between now and 2 months, I think.
Yes.
And first of all, I think it should go about us being happy that Mo has extended, and it should not be the talks about other players.
James?
Arne, just in terms of Sunday, is Alisson fully recovered then?
Yes, he is.
And one of the positives last week was obviously Conor Bradley, his cameo with 4 weeks training. Does that put him in contention to maybe start Sunday?
Yes, he does.
How much of a boost is that to have him back around? Conor's obviously been out for a long time.
Of course, it's a boost. It's always a boost when quality players come back, especially quality players in that position, because I think Curtis Jones is a quality player, but it's not his favorite position. So to have a player in his favorite position is always, not always, but it might be better for the team. And Conor has done so well for us this season, just like Trent. But when Trent then isn't there, you always look to hope behind you and see that Conor is available. But then if he isn't, then we have to solve that problem, and we're not the only team in this league that has had these problems. So we've tried to bring the best out of it. That worked really well against Everton. I think Curtis played well also against Fulham. Of course, he was involved in the goal, but yeah, you can ask yourself the question if he could do so much about that. But he did it quite well, very well in my opinion, for 2 times. But now to have Conor back, I think we all would make the same decision, and that's playing Conor in that position.
Quick break, Arsenal.
Thanks, Arne. Thank you.
You're welcome.